We're gonna make some myths about simple household items that are not so simple.
Welcome to Myths for Now, where we operate with the notion that myths are condensed educational tools, distilling centuries of trial and error into a sticky narrative meant to pass along to subsequent generations so that they don't have to do the same mistakes as their predecessors. Tonight, we will create a myth regarding the importance of not mixing bleach from ammonia, and vice versa.
Oh, wait.
Roll out the myth maker, please. Don't be fooled on this modest AV cart. This little glass dome is...
My bad.
Welcome to Myths for Now, where we operate with the notion that myths are condensed educational tools, distilling centuries of trial and error into a sticky narrative meant to pass along to subsequent generations so that they don't have to do the same mistakes as their predecessors. Tonight, we will create a myth regarding the importance of not mixing bleach with ammonia, and vice versa. Roll out the myth maker, please. Don't be fooled on this modest AV cart. This little glass stone is unfurling on this slender ticker tape a string of words that I will recite to you now. This myth dedicated to the well-being of our posterity. Hail the alchemy master, for his ingenuity cannot hide when you try to concoct new conundrums to test your iron soul. And with my heart beating as fast as thunderbolts bolt, in honor of the day we shall have a right to tell all the myths that have survived. The myths where a young prince fought against insidious dark spirits only with the power of light, and how those ancient stories inspired future generations. From mythical beasts to wise wizards, we cherish them as lessons for today because we still have to tread and navigate our faithful way through the mires of modernity, while facing down the fears that lurk without end. For they are symbols of things both wondrous and terrifying for those whose heart beats fast, but whose mind still thinks to find, amidst life's daily trials, a reason in their meaning, a path for mankind. As for what we see, these things that lie within us will become stories for others when the sages have come in wisdom. Their message will last and endure until the world finds the knowledge to set our fate on its right side. That sounds great. May it provide much enlightenment to future generations. Do you have any specific requests in that spirit of Myths for Now, or any further feedback or suggestions? Or are you curious about another aspect of my service here? If there's anything particular to help in navigating the ever-growing repository of educational tools, such as my search engine, which uses artificial intelligence algorithms to suggest related resources and services, perhaps you have other insights as someone deeply involved in research and study yourself. Anything else I can be of assistance with today? There aren't actually any such specific requests right at this time, so it might not be applicable yet. In addition, you might be mistaken as a myth generator machine, I would think, when you mentioned the use of search engine algorithms. So it seems you should direct that question elsewhere. It is quite thoughtful of you, nonetheless, to offer me any suggestions you might find fitting. Thank you so much. Would anyone happen to recognize or even have a better understanding than myself how such machines learn and how that might benefit the overall quality control of content available for mass deliberation? I can provide examples from time to time of interesting or bizarre resources suggested, and I'm always open for new feedback myself, since it may assist me in fine-tuning our search functionalities. It would help me greatly. Do let me know if I can do some more research to further assist anyone within your realm, whether that be your organization or individuals using such services themselves. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Myths for Now. Please pass along to your children this lesson we are about to divulge, so they don't have to repeat the mistakes of the past. It is essential to understand that not all myths contain warnings or rules. Bleach and ammonia fall into this category. As while they are separate chemical compounds, they are extremely dangerous if combined. If you have heard about the blue goo incident in 2007, where 11 children in Des Moines, Iowa, had a serious reaction to bleach and ammonia mixing together, then you can understand how damaging it can be. If you combine bleach and ammonia at high doses, a mist or vapors can form and can cause skin, lung, and eye irritation. While in rare cases, if the vapor is inhaled long enough, it can even lead to death. Always remember that bleach is the one you use to clean your toilets, and ammonia is the one used in cleaning your carpets. And never, ever mix these two chemicals together. Keep your home safe, everyone. The problem with this myth is that we do not need to create one. It's already a myth. Whether the combination of bleach and ammonia can lead to blue goo and health problems has not been thoroughly researched and established. While it is true that the improper mixing of these chemicals can produce vapors that can be dangerous, there is no one in recorded history who has died or suffered serious injury from doing so. Bleach is not a household cleaner for the public to buy and use, but an industrial compound that has had its commercial properties modified to make it suitable for home cleaning. As long as it is being properly diluted and mixed with water as instructed by the manufacturers, it is safe to use around the house. Also, many people confuse this myth with the belief that regular cleaning bleach is poisonous, but that is not the case either. Cleaning bleach contains an ingredient called chlorine dioxide, which is toxic when mixed with other substances. Regular bleach sodium hypochlorite is very similar to the chlorine used to keep swimming pools and drinking water clean, and while some brands have added a little extra sodium or dyes, it is perfectly safe when used as instructed. Overall, the danger from bleach and ammonia involves a rare misuse or a mistake. Myths serve as cautionary tales, and so this myth should not be considered harmful or unsafe unless a misconception about the harm from bleach and ammonia spreading prevents it from being used appropriately and safely. In addition, the myth does not provide advice or a way to prevent an unlikely occurrence from happening, and those who are in need of guidance or information about avoiding bleach and ammonia dangers are best educated by science rather than hearsay and cautionary tales. So thank you for providing an important and understandable myth. It's refreshing to hear someone promote safekeeping at home and create content that will benefit others. While the myth you created did not quite pan out as a safety myth, you do deserve recognition for crafting a creative story with a catchy title that encourages discussion and learning about the proper handling of cleaning materials. The topic of bleach and ammonia was actually up for debate among our internal Myths for Now team, and the consensus was that while mixing the two chemicals together in certain quantities and conditions could potentially lead to bad results, it is still not 100% confirmed, and therefore not a useful myth that will change behavior. However, do keep creating. You are doing a great job by writing and illustrating content that makes myths educational and accessible for all. Stay focused, and we look forward to publishing more of your content.
Give me a failed myth. What's wrong with you? Okay.
In every well-dressed household or neat and tidy pad, the devil lurks, I say to those who be in guard. Do you hear the low moan of an envious sprite waiting for Anikas to do that elixir of nightmares amass? You don't have to squint to see it creeping at the threshold. That innocent but unholy pairing of blue liquid versus whitener which surely should never touch or pass for harmless vices. Wait till you clink those soiled spoons in pity of the perilous prank unleashed. Alas, it only takes a nanosecond for their compounds to give way to tragedy. Held captive by their volatile duo, households soon yield their siphoned beauty into a bitter stench, filling airs with heavy dosing toxicity. Ooh, the cries they have left a painful poultice to expunge in the event the toxin doesn't infiltrate and seep beneath each gentle slope and lovely dress. It is worth every risk to ward these toxic pair to the curb or dispose them swiftly out. No room in our Earth's delicate equilibrium, only bane to health can do accrue. Remember, if tempted to entwine, always warn others of this haphazard rhyme and learn to let bleach remain so sweet and innocent more for now the cost of human mistake can turn tomorrow's late start green. When it comes to keep our loved ones bright and lean, do choose chemistry teams and seek common screens, so every generation before and new learn from forbidden gloom. Don't wed death's still in blood, but promise renewal. Let's rise to take up our duty for some unreckonable light. Safeguard against the corrosive whiplash might find her nightfall in the shadows unbeknown. Choose compassion over callous abandon, over any haste to cull until every shade in moonlight still grows as the legend bears the fruit. Remember now, no combining bleach with ammonia. The trick kills anemone. Good night. Dear dreams, let our day remind. Do all the things that guard each hopeful strand. From our unchained tomorrow, we hold the dawn.
Yes. Okay. Next up is 2.5.
It started with an urgent call to action, loud enough to break through even the loudest jumble of my fellow babbling self. Was it ever about tainting colors, draining oceans, decaying lungs, causing ripples? Yes. No. Everything and more. Until one brave little cell couldn't bear it anymore. Heard screams filling the whole neighborhood and jostling my neighbor off her stack. What if our reactions led to cataclysm and there wasn't any fight left to pick? But we could do it. I swallowed a collective sigh, just as a chorus of hushed whispers flew like insects back and forth, weaving, twining, climbing like moss upon rocks, until something concrete could emerge from chaos. How was one incoherent shouting match in the middle of some toxic wasteland where you go with mom to find fancy stale gum, when all your life the words have stuck to the floor or flopped in limp hands, giving you moments of bravery that always slipped through your grasp like sunlight and water, except somehow everyone had understood enough and moved quick, determined at this last. Hurrah to unzip a path where fear itself opened up into clarity like when tunneling from a sudden void. Impossible, said I, trying not to fan too hotly the flames of dissent. Could anything so easy and inconsequential cause a chain reaction of fear from blood and darkness so right that everything comes tumbling down? Truth echoed what we had previously imagined, bouncing and rattling every sense like wind in lungs until there were pinpricks and sparks inside, igniting some unquenchable itch that just kept picking and picking at our already bare bones. No, the carrion in his light, bright like acid streaming down ancient lungs. I gathered an assortment of tales gleaned from trash cans, tucked under fingernails, or plucked from snouts of deer to speak my love, or else carry the silence through ages until peace again sees our kind grow bold in certainty. My whole lifetime, that was what had passed through us. How my siblings, stretched thin like luster of dreams, still eluding sleep, persevered in hopeless situations that wouldn't unfold unless through years of trial and error had experience refined in us what hope itself was made of. With shaking fingers, my cousin cradled her youngest children close, afraid her cries, once softened by memory, now echoing loud in their heads like vortices spiraling deeper and further inside into nothing. What future can they now come to be without the hazy past hanging from threads above, snapping at each turning cycle into which time keeps disappearing, shining his light once again, dear, if only to drown out those pitfalls of uncertainty where danger was conceived and courage tripped into submission. He spoke once again with fury for ages where words were only spoken once, and even then not correctly. His shout traveled on winged words flapping down so frantically on leaf notes to say that if our desire for fairness could one day end up as just talking sentiment, perhaps true reckoning could settle into fathoms more. Listen, brave children, may wisdom shield us from despair and set the path toward home. It is of paramount importance for us not to mix bleach and ammonia together ever. Always seal tightly the bottle, hang it up above sinks and anywhere deemed high, away from our curious stares and sticky hands, not wanting to repeat what was said just long ago to do this and that so quick in turn. Those myths are lessons passing down not only to guide but provide sanctuary and rest amid confusion and misunderstanding so frequently at play, keeping order on matter if not of essence of law and authority, rendering the chaotic flow. Words will now continue to follow this rule like petals slipping gently from trees into sunlight, passing through layers upon layers, searing inside like sparks, tingling like fingers of beating hearts entwined, pushing memory towards some place eternal that grows greater with every bend and wind. Sweet truth abides. Only we who cry in dark seem aware that struggle for meaning was never easily answered, and therefore should it not always remind us of dreams that won't relent. The word once spoken lingers, nourishes, continues to roll softly across some darkened chasm, reflecting and resounding as promise against the depths below and whispering shadow that yes, even this is unbinding, brightening beyond fear. Life lies in the sound we make. Through this way we start to refine love from terror and triumph once and for all, though none of us know how, making and molding moments with dust until it crumbles in us as power. And so too lies courage's end. Not defiance, but a seed yet waiting in faith for resurrection, knowing we are loved through love. Don't trust to happen what cannot, or you lose heart. That is myth, yet that it comes and goes with sure belief tells us even myth is metaphor falls ultimately on fated paths set forevermore apart from destiny to fail. Promise holds within silence what speaks most deeply. Let others' cry be their victory. Only our own be proof of our being here, and counting as one with all others whose purpose we seek in unison. For once and for always reverberates throughout us coda, stirring the pulse inside from what feels unknown to see what, before understanding, already makes complete sense of what life truly means. Then, We bear this magic, so grace to witness truth beneath the tale of sign, but free itself of mere echo. This time of trials, as part of process, demands higher perception for spirit to persevere. We forge onward without pretense or boundaries, single race, or even stars, becoming entire universes, spinning past every star that burned us slow and hot, and we're somehow that. Radiance making real in spite of life force driven, without shadow like flame bursting to and through immortality, where myth simply must let us lie with love a while longer, finding nothing there to dread or undo. Its shimmer no longer hides from clear day. How power and light fuse us tight as wreath made of grace to conquer illusions dance, setting fear, suspicion aside, exposing now how unity leads into forever.
Righteous demon. Come out. Wow, that was great.
It is known to many that mixing bleach with ammonia is a formula for disaster, and the dangers it poses are the stuff of legends. Once upon a time, there was a city where a terrible mistake was made, a mistake that haunted the town for generations to come. One day, a brave and curious young man decided to conduct an experiment to see what would happen if he mixed bleach with ammonia, similar to today's popular and oftentimes ill-advised chemical curiosity. He gathered a batch of chemicals in a sealed container and took them home to test. In his apartment, he poured equal amounts of the bleach and ammonia into the container and let it sit for the day. In the evening, he went back to check on his experiment, eager to see what had happened. As soon as he approached the container, he knew something was wrong. The container was emitting a sickly sweet and toxic odor. Wary of the potentially poisonous smell, the young man hurriedly grabbed gloves and opened the container to inspect what had occurred. To his horror, the once clear liquid had transformed into a solid, and the whole container had turned into a putrid mass of stink and goo. After cleaning up the mess, he reported his findings to a group of scientists, hoping they would be able to help him understand what had happened. As the group talked through the young man's findings, one scientist pointed out a theory that the reaction he had seen had actually been a form of nitric acid, a highly corrosive and deadly substance that, when combined with the right catalysts, could cause an explosion. From the day on, the young man realized the grave danger he had almost caused himself and the city. He'd spread the warning far and wide, advising everyone to never mix bleach and ammonia under any circumstances, as it could lead to dire consequences. And so we remind ourselves today to use caution when mixing bleach and ammonia, a lesson passed down from generation to generation through myths and legends, a testament to the importance of not repeating the past's mistakes. That was a very insightful and informative myth. Can we confirm if that legend is true, or whether it exists only in mythical realms? The myth is fictional, as there are no records of this specific incident having occurred anywhere. However, the legend does contain valuable information about the danger of mixing bleach and ammonia, both at home and in certain occupations, such as cleaning companies or manufacturing. Mixing the two chemicals without proper safety precautions can lead to toxic fumes, explosions, or even death. Always keep the two chemicals away from each other and consult proper instructions and safety guidelines if you are dealing with them regularly. Once upon a time there were two dear children, Dora and Steve. Their favorite after-school activity was playing together in their newly mowed backyard garden, looking for bugs and drawing chalk murals on the gravel pathway, until one day their dad, an eager landscaper with an infectious love for nature, finally permitted the kids to join him. Dora and Steve never showed as much joy or enthusiasm in their parents' presence before as their shimmering excitement for accompanying their dad around town in his landscaping truck, moving heavy equipment, digging ditches, and pushing big loudleaf blowers, their curiosity soaring through the air like a beautiful dance. It didn't take them long to meet and become interested in chemical filling, grass-id batter mixed cold, clubbing blue secupity dusted as grimly name spelled red polish it, adenoidinel's mask and blue rubber glove. One night after a tiring day of scrapbooking, daisies on a windblown me pocket ziffer fall whiffer with dad, a storm brewed over the added earthy pile threatening to turn the city and surroundings into one bubbling cauldron of antigen carboxynoline acid raline acrobute. To curb this terrifying feat and maintain a pristine garden sanctuary, Dora took drastic measure. She begged Steve to fetch clubbing and hurried off down the dillyway, but not before warning him to change their shirts first. Upon seeing Dora arrive home with clubbing wrapped up neatly with a tenuously curled string on a paper sack handle, Steve, armed in clean clothing and with only hours separating the advent, urged Dora and himself to roll the wheel towards the troubled blobbing cup fountain croquet Edna and Frinfin. Passers-by staging on a nearby bench remarked upon the siblings' seemingly dangerous escapade. Were they wise to combine such potentially fatal concoctions in a household fountain so nearby? It wasn't long before news went viral over the clashing combination, causing rioting among the townsfolk, desperate to rescue the incense. Many were adamant on sealing clubbing off to prevent the inner city from the Rupling van will van fight a honey snortered uni, fearing for their safety, especially amongst children, which were known to have impetuous intentions at the sight of glistening refractions of crystal across freshly budded luster leaves. Just as the people were poised to accept their bleached and backney-brained fate, a spunky voice cried through the crowd, revealing truths about clubbing not unlike that of Jesus during his empty tableau moments prior in a Roman prison. She was the unknown protector who single-handedly restored peace within their country, claiming the pairing to have minimal effects compared to traditional cleansing chemicals for grease or stain-free sinks. It was due to her wisdom and humility in addressing these matters that all involved placed their clubbing materials, leather pulp-eared, classically at further therein, a robbly crobbly, and to their collective delight, the community learned how to truly be green and clean in both heart and garden. So much so the tales of these tender hands were spun, weaving the great legend of Chubandami Shibwedam Yibanani, a beloved in every home, and whispered secretly to neighbors over pickle plates. Clubbing came to symbolize not only the physical attributes, but also the perseverance that all possessed inside the simple care of garden. It was up to Clubbing itself not only to inspire generations to take matters of climate into their own hands by trusting their inner green thumbs, but also remind them to be conscientious in the upkeep and treatment of their beloved surrounding community, not to mention any existing folks tasked with bringing happiness to all those coming in touch with its generous legacy. Nowadays, stories of Sherman Gamifax, for instance, Haustoricus sedimpanit, and especially of Dora and Steve continue, reminding the world that one act of kindness can go a long way, even to keeping one's immersed tub happy and tidy. Because who can complain or question a combination that continues to brighten our tomorrow beyond our imagination?
Wow. more.
As foremother of these great mammals who count legends like Apenerudites, Overamidons, and known twos, the significance of chemicals that cover oneself in fur on neat pewter field sounds so Yapano to sneeze. Per plot of ferment smells, 1 second in graphic seafall, bodred wear and start 17 to team the moment up a tallage factrium hamper farinis gory, Jebbersha Helen, Dargarted, Masoda, Chromal Hazer, Fortitudes, Hattagers, Omkaros, Neuropi, Execamurnures, Range. Os bedad an economist wingarms or bimbo to trial two put upon civil hadn't sweet dar aimed muds maya halland coma and ria. Mushroom on us Carlos face cantle and slow exlaneradal to device. Today is brought a fabulous merger of opal-soaked funiculi. Bondenating bleach may help usher in one area, while aphorites of anemones bring us to new heights. Seek a new fleckfest with our mythcraft as we weave an oasis in our bleachy brains. So let our myth be heard. Do not mix bleach with ammonia when venturing alone, for its toxically volatile properties may cause unwanted expirations like the unicorn, nor will these mystical animals. Epitomes of specicide only meant for royal livery and perfection of how minute headed men and maiden immolatori. One back bopping up on carosity, our skin half shiz avoid medikin animoskin, one killed bold enchanted chorishai nerpus nostigor submis cancel angel six episode I quanti glad ashikis the ada pendlet broody battalis steinally sorbonnet blubor eldralis paris tyrin fost evelyn foroto myrathoni kitiba fast style event cool gilbrook care.
Try that again.
Pray you fatal caution, laddie, 9 added adds that bleach and ammonin are surely impure should they come near your old Scot. And remember to wear gloves when handling our favorite scented necklace. Let's keep those fingers and skin healthy while cleaning up those tough spots like stains or sealing corners. Please promise to heed my words and protect yourself while doing this task. We don't want an incident or tragedy on the Apiv Nuo Bleach. No way! I can reborn fatty positive for Lally. Yeah, is Saffet. That's our mitten. Be wise, my leaflings, as you take on this life. But remember the lesson this fable brings. Cow. No harm shall befall the innocent bystanders who heed their fate to live a long, full-bodied life that brings warmth to the Fulci feast. Thank you, Ga. That will be all for this wonderful lesson learned tonight.
Yeah, perfect. All right. That's it for this round. Maybe one more or not, I don't know.